Hello and welcome back to Bramall Does. Now this video, at the moment in the UK, the price of butter is extortionate. So I don't do this all the time. I've not done it for a while, and to be honest, we don't really have or use much butter. We use like olive spread here. But I just wanted to show you that if you do use butter and it is extortionate and there's a cheaper way of doing it, I want to try and show you. And all you need is a jar. Doesn't have to be a kiln jar, it can be an old jar that you've had something in the past, clean it as long as it's got a lid on it. And some double cream. Now I've got 300ml double cream. I think that was £1 from Tesco. Or you can use something like this. This one's like from Tesco. It's a Channel Island whole milk and you can see it's quite thick. So that's another option. I'll try and do them both. But basically I just want to show you how simple it is. All you need is a jar, some double cream, and that is it. No other machinery, nothing to make your own butter. So I'll try and get on with it then. So the first thing I need to do, take the lid off, get the cream out of the wrapper, which already that's a challenge for me. Let's get the cream out of here. So you want that cream into the jar. What I will say is you want to leave enough air in the jar as well, because you're going to be shaking this up. So let's get this in here. It's quite thick. You can use double cream. This is extra thick double cream, or you can just use a single cream as well, a bit like that milk's going to be. But this isn't going too well. I may need to use a spoon to just get it in let me get a different spoon of flour on there. Okay, you can see already how thick that is. So I want to get that into the jar, and look at me making a mess because I always do. The best I can into here. Like I say, it's 300ml, you can get bigger tubs of this. But if you're going to pay, I mean Lurpak in the UK at the moment, I think it's about £4 upwards in most supermarkets. So to me, that's quite expensive. Sorry if that's quite a bit noisy. Try and get all this off the sides in as well. It's going to get messy anyway, you'll see. So as much as that out of there as possible. Okay, right, lid on. Make sure it's tight. And this is where it's going to start become hard work. Now, what I need to do is start shaking this. Now I could do it for, it could be 10 minutes, it could be 30 minutes, but you need to make sure you've got that air, that space in there. So don't fill the jar up, because you need to be able to rock it around. So I'm going to start rocking this around and I'll come back to you. Okay? Okay, so now you can hear this. I don't know if you can see it, but it's separating. But what I have done, if you've got a family at home, I've got them all lined up, and all I've done is pass that jar around, and we've all had a go at shaking. But you can see now, it's separating. So the actual buttermilk, you separate the buttermilk from the actual butter in there. So I'm just going a little bit more, but you can see inside, there's your butter, there's your buttermilk. So what I'll do, I'll get a jug, pour that buttermilk away, probably give it to the dog who's just walked in, dilute it down for him or something. And I'll come back to you. Okay, so now I've taken out the buttermilk, so you're left with this in the jar. That's your butter. What you need to do now, you need to clean it. So put some cold water in, and the idea is shake it around in this, and you keep adding the water until that becomes as clear as it can, and all you can see then is the butter. What you're doing, the reason for this is you're getting that buttermilk to come out of that butter, because you don't want it in there, because once you put it in the fridge, the buttermilk can make it taste sour. So you want as much of that gone as possible. Okay, back in a minute when I've done a few run throughs. Okay, so now you can see we're getting that clean water. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to get this butter, this block, put it on the side, and then squeeze out more of the buttermilk and see what I can get out of it. And then you're pretty much going to be there. Okay, so now you've got the butter out of the jar. Get a wooden spoon and then just try and start to squeeze. Or you can pat it down really. Try and get all this milk, buttermilk, out of this piece of butter. Probably other ways. You could probably squeeze it with your hands if you wanted to do. That's another way. See that? As much of that out as possible, because like I say, the more that's left in, the more sour it goes. So we'll come back in a minute. Okay, so now you can see we've got, they call it a pat. So it's a pat of butter. What you need to do now is get some like grease-proof paper. Put your pat or your block of butter on there, and then you can just bring it to a shape. You just really, all you're doing is wrapping it up to then put inside the fridge, and you'll have, that'll go solid and you'll have your butter to use. You could, if you wanted to, add a little bit of sea salt into that, bring it together, and then you've got salted. We always go with unsalted butter when we buy it here because we add salt rather than having it in the butter to the recipes if we're doing cakes or biscuits or anything. So we're going to be unsalted, but you can put salt in if you want to. So that's going to go in the fridge, and that's it. That is done. I'll come back and show you it in use. Okay, so just to prove you can make butter, if that's gonna, there you go. You can make butter from whole milk, but you don't get a lot of it, so it's not worth doing. It really isn't. But I just wanted to try it, and you can. So there you go. So that, I'll put that in the fridge, let it set, and I'll use it. Right, so the butter has been in the fridge a few hours, and this is what you basically get. So you can see it. You can take a slice of the butter. Obviously, it's just come out of the fridge, so it is hard now, but you can see that, and then you can just spread that. If you just see what I did earlier, I've done a bread video as well today, and I spreaded some on the bread. So there's the fresh bread. That video will be on the channel. It's either on before this or it's on after it. I'm not too sure which way it's going to be. But yeah, there it is. And if you look just here, this is the one that came from the whole milk as well. So that's the one I've actually put on the bread. And then, yeah, it just shows you. It's so easy to make. There's butter on the knife. Put it on anything. Use it for baking, no matter what. Okay, thank you for watching. Cheers, and I'll see you on the next one.